New information tonight on the continuing saga of NFL wide receiver Antonio Brown. After days of speculation, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers officially let the seven-time Pro Bowler go today. The wide receiver says the team fired him after he refused to play while injured. Brown released a statement through his attorney saying he had a painful ankle injury. Brown says he told Coach Bruce Arians he couldn't play because of the injury. He says the coach ordered him on the field and Brown refused. Brown's statement reads in part, "I'm reflecting on my reaction, but there was a trigger. The trigger was someone telling me that I'm not allowed to feel pain. I acknowledge my past, but my past does not make me a second-class citizen. My past does not forfeit my right to be heard when I am in pain." Joining me now, NFL legend, former running back for the New York Giants, Tiki Barber. Tiki, it's been a while since we've seen you. It's good to have you back. This is yet another thing that is, I guess, leading to different opinions. Some people say Antonio Brown's just not a good teammate. He's problematic. Others say he's got some issues going on. We need to have compassion. Which is it?
Well, I think it might be a little bit of both, and it's great to see you again as well, Joe. Happy New Year. Antonio Brown is such a complicated figure because there was a time 3 or 4 years ago when he was one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, and just because he could play, you deal with some of the issues that came off the field, whether it was the distractions in the locker room or the social media posts. But since that time, he's now 32 years old, almost 33 years old, it becomes less tolerable when things like this happen. And we make a snap judgment on what we see because it looks crazy. I mean, who takes your shoulder pads off and throws her shirt in the stands and runs across the field? But as the days have gone on, we've realized what actually was going on. Antonio Brown didn't feel like he could play, and Bruce Arians, who you mentioned, I know really well from years of being in the NFL. He's also roommates with my dad in college. He wanted Antonio Brown out on the field. When he felt like he couldn't go, and mainly because he wasn't getting a lot of touches, he didn't feel invigorated to play through the pain, he said, "I can't." And that's when Bruce Arians said, "Get out of here." And we all know what happened after that.
Right. Let's hear a little bit more from the coach, Bruce Arians. He talked today more about what happened, and here's some of it.
At no point in time during that game did he ever ask the trainer or doctor about his ankle. He never went through. That's the normal protocol. You go through protocols during games. I was never notified of it. You can't force a player to play. You can't force a player to play. I mean, they have that choice. It's their body.
So, Tiki, he said the players know the truth. I'm not sure what that means, but what do you make of this whole injury thing? Is this how this typically goes down? If you're hurt, you go to the staff and say, "I can't go," or what?
It's interesting, Joe, because, for instance, 2000, I broke my forearm. I easily could have said, you know what, I'm not going to play. But I wanted to play. I wanted to give a team a chance to win and try to get to a Super Bowl. Ultimately, we did, and I played a couple of games with a broken arm. This is what I'm saying. Antonio Brown has a fracture in his ankle, which maybe the Bruce Arians knew about or didn't know about. That's beside the point. But if Antonio Brown was feeling used and valued for this Buccaneers team, he likely would have played hurt. And so this is where it gets complicated interpretation-wise. As Bruce Arians, the head coach, knows he probably has some issues, but Antonio Brown's not telling the trainer, "I can't play." He's just telling Bruce Arians, "I don't want to play." And so what happens in lost communication is two different sides of the same story. And the crazy thing, Joe, is that they both might be right. And that's what makes it complicated. The reason it took so long for them to release him is because they likely had to go through an injury settlement. When someone gets hurt and the team no longer wants to play with him, you can't just say, "See ya," right? It's an at-will employee profession. So if you lose skill or they just don't like you, they can cut you unless you're injured. That's why it took so long for them to ultimately release Antonio Brown. There probably was some settlement here.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure. I thought maybe there was a chance they might make up, but that was proven wrong.
I did too.
Interesting.
I did too, honestly.
All right, so my other question on this, Tiki, was if he was hurt, why was he dressed? Because typically if you're dressed, that means you can play. But I think to Antonio's point, he's claiming now that he got some sort of an injection that the NFL Players Association said maybe wasn't a good idea. So, and he also had 2 catches. So the question becomes, did he get hurt during the game to where he couldn't go? Or was it a matter of what Coach Arians is saying is that he was complaining that he wasn't getting enough touches?
Yeah, so Joe, this is an old cliche in the NFL. Shoot it up with Toradol. You know, you stick a needle in, it's got a painkiller, you don't feel any pain, which actually is a way to cause more damage if you're actually hurt. But he was cleared to play by the doctors. The other side of the story is that the Tampa Bay doctors wanted him to go see an extra out-of-office third opinion or second opinion, and he refused to do it. But come game day, you work out before. We see it all the time. You go to a football game, guys are running around on the field. There's a trainer out there. How do you feel? You feel good? Great. All right, let's go. Let's tape it up and go play the game. He went through that entire process, said he felt fine, obviously, otherwise he wouldn't have been dressed, and then came out and started to play. As the game went on, and they were losing big at that point. Let's not forget, they were losing to the Jets, which was a little bit surprising for a lot of people, 24-10, and he wasn't being utilized. That's when he started to feel pain in his ankle and said he didn't want to play, and we all know what transpired after that.
Yeah, then the Bucs did come back to win that game, by the way, as well. So what do you think happens from here, Tiki? Where does he go? Do you think another team takes a flyer on him?
I mean, I've long been on the record saying it's not worth it. But we saw that it was worth it last year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as Antonio Brown, after all of the issues from the driver at his house to the potential jail sentence that he had to serve, the sexual assault, he got cleared of that, was suspended for 8 games, and came back and helped the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In fact, he was integral in helping the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win a Super Bowl. So it was worth it from that football standpoint. But if you're someone else, are you willing to deal with it? If you don't have a quarterback who's strong-minded like Tom Brady is, if you don't have a head coach like Bruce Arians who kind of is, I don't care, I'm going to do it my way whether you like it or not, I'm not sure it works in a lot of places around the NFL. But will someone give him a shot? If he's healthy and can play, you better believe they will.
Hey, on the way out, before we let you go, Tiki, New York football is booming this season, as you well know. You mentioned the Jets. So if you had to hitch your wagon to either the Giants or the Jets, who would it be?
I mean, I got to say the Giants. I'm playing with the Giants, Joe. And I'm trying to, will them into success again. But honestly, the Jets are starting to show some promise. Their quarterback looks really good. Looks like they have the right coaching staff in place. I think the Jets get better before the Giants, but I'm always rooting for the Giants, Joe. You know that.
How did I know you were going to say that? Former running back and a great for the New York Giants, Tiki Barber. Tiki, again, it's great to have you. Thanks for the time.
Appreciate you, Joe. Be well and see you soon.
You too. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.